Hello, good afternoon, buenas tardes. My name is Kurt Jole. I'm the country director for WWF Peru. I'm Peruvian. I'm going to speak in English for the benefit of the English speakers here. And I'm going to talk about technology from the perspective of connections and communication. And I want to start by thanking WILDLABS and Thalia that's there for organizing the conference. Incredible job from you and your team. And I also want to return to Thalia's opening words yesterday and the slogan, I think it's a slogan of the conference, which is something like connecting people, ideas, and tools. Did I get that right? Yes, okay. So it's almost a cliche when we talk about technology and its ability to connect people, or its ability to connect people and information. No? One of the things we've been playing around with the idea in our work at WWF here in Peru is the idea that technology also is good for enhancing the connection between people and species, between people and animals, between people and jaguar in the specific case I'm going to speak of. And we found this through our work, kind of our hardcore conservation work, monitoring work, our hardcore work using, the regular work using technology. And we decided to change a little bit of it and see how it helped us connect people to jaguar, the people of the places that we work in. And that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit. Let me move on to the next slide here. WWF has worked in the state of Madre de Dios in the southwestern Peruvian Amazon for 25 years. And if you're Peruvian, I'm sure you've heard of Madre de Dios. If you're not Peruvian, you may have heard of Madre de Dios in the news. Let's say in these few years, in these past few years, in the Peruvian news, if we're not changing presidents, you would hear about something else in the news. And that might be illegal gold mining, And related to illegal gold mining, you'd hear about Madre de Dios and other Peruvian states like Arequipa or La Libertad or Amazonas, So 50% of the time we're changing, or the news is about changing presidents. The other 50% of the time, it's about some really bad news on illegal gold mining. But the reality is a lot of the good news in Madre de Dios doesn't make it to the news, That's the truth about Madre de Dios and a lot of our country, And just a brief example of Madre de Dios is, Madre de Dios is a state of 8.5 million hectares, of which most of them are forested. More than half of Madre de Dios is well-protected and protected areas. About 1.5 million hectares is titled indigenous lands or voluntary isolated peoples reserve. Another 1 million hectares are a concession to Brazil nut gatherers who manage the forest really well. Another are concession to timber extractors. And the final 500,000 or so are used by farmers, cattle ranchers, and the gold miners. So the vast majority is still forested, is still in good shape, it's still well managed, it's well conserved. So in this landscape, in this state, we work with the protected area system, trying to find ways to achieve financial sustainability for the protected areas, not only in Madre de Dios, but in all of the Peruvian Amazon. We work with the people of Madre de Dios, the cattle ranchers, the Brazil nut gatherers, the timber extractors, and the indigenous people, trying to help develop and design nature-based solutions to social problems or to economic problems that they might have. Just to give you an example of how one of those works, there's one we call regenerative cattle ranching, where we work with cattle ranchers to using very simple techniques, improve the soils, increase the productivity of the cattle, get better fencing, get more shade in the cattle ranches, and then increase productivity and restore some of the land that's fallow because of the increased productivity. So that is That is a nature-based solution, regenerative cattle ranching. No? Now, all this work that I just described, to be able to know if we're effective, we monitor several things. We monitor deforestation, we monitor degradation, fragmentation, connectivity, all the topics you've been talking about during this conference. And of course, we monitor some of the species there. One species that we monitor very closely is jaguar. So when we set camera traps in the cattle ranching territories, in the Brazil nut territories, in the timber extractor territories, we do so to know if our work is effective. No? And here on this slide, we have what a screenshot would look like from our monitoring tool using the information we gather from camera traps. Over 2 or 3 years of putting it out there, and this is a screenshot from an individual jaguar that is called Milton, and this individual jaguar has been captured by camera traps 14 times in that large orange circle in the middle, 9 times in that medium-sized circle. Those large shapes there in green are timber concessions. If you go to the other side, you're not gonna see it. On the other side. The jaguar has not been seen. Milton has not been seen on the other side of that road, and the screenshot gives the information we need to know if we're effective. No, so it tells us a density of that area. 2.5 jaguars per 100 square kilometers. It tells us the esfuerzo de muestreo, the sampling effort, 5,420 days of camera traps there, 38 detections of that jaguar individual, the probability of occupation, roughly half of it that'll be on any given pixel. But we know more or less what Milton's up to in those timber concessions, no? And we know more or less what 70 other individual jaguars are up to not only in the timber concessions but also in the cattle ranching areas, which would be the white area in this map, and then the Brazil nut extraction areas, which are further south. No, we know all this, and this finds its way into publications, into white papers, gray literature, peer-reviewed publications, and so on and so forth. And this, by the way, is we're really grateful to companies like Hewlett-Packard and Cisco and the Saul Family Foundation that allow us to do this level of monitoring. So that's what you guys have been talking about during the whole conference, no? And there's nothing I can teach you about that. I'm not a doctor. I don't have a PhD. I don't have a master's. But I'm a regular guy who really likes Madre Dios and who really gets along with the people of Madre Dios. So when I go to Madre Dios, we have conversations about our work with the cattle ranchers and with the timber extractors and with the Brazil nut gatherers, no? And when we talk to them, and this is me and our staff, our great team, we find out that they want to see the results of us putting camera traps on their cattle ranchers, no? There's a very fancy way of talking about making friends in conservation, and it's called stakeholder engagement, no? So when you go to a place, you have this methodology called stakeholder engagement to engage with people of that place during the before, during, and post period of a project. So when we do stakeholder engagement, yes, we're using the stakeholder engagement methodology, trying to find out what people's dreams are, what people's fears are, and trying to design our projects accordingly and design them with the people in the landscape, you know? So we found out we were getting a lot of questions about, hey, what's on the camera traps? Can you come back and show us what's on the camera traps? And we decided, yeah, let's do it, but let's show the screenshots, let's show the data, but also let's make it a little different, no? And so we started playing around with the idea of La Feria del Jaguar, the day of the jaguar, the trade show of the jaguar, no? How do you say feria in English? How would you say feria? The fair, the jaguar fair. Thank you. That was an easy one. And so we started coming back to the communities where we had been putting these camera traps for 2 years, and we talked to the people there about the results that you just saw on that slide, But we also talked about tigers and leopards and lions and what felines were like in other places. We talked about the indigenous name of jaguar, but also the Latin name of jaguar, and the indigenous names of all the little creatures that come up, all the little animals that come up on the camera traps, and the Latin name of them as well. We talked to them about, we devised an apron that had the prints of the jaguars, the specific individual prints each jaguar has on them. And then by having people walk around in an exercise, we kind of described the way the capture and recapture methodology works. We gave communities a diploma with the photo of the jaguar, the individual jaguar, the name of the individual. We decided to put the name that the community chose for the jaguar in their place and give them a diploma with it, with all the data on the jaguar and what we had found in the camera traps. A USB with all the data from the camera traps. And all these things meant the world, no? It really changed the perception of this hard data and the jaguars in these communities. And just a couple of things that I've witnessed myself. So these are anecdotes from these experiences in the jaguar, during or after the jaguar fairs. One of the times I remember after we kind of went through the whole protocol part, one of the people we were talking to went right up to one of our team members and said, hey, Frank, can you show me the photos of the jaguar from the camera trap? Because I just got sent a photo from a jaguar on the street right here beside the timber concession, and I want to know if it's the same one. No? So people were already looking forward to finding out if the jaguar they're seeing is the same one on the camera trap. No? This is not real evidence that this is working, no? That people are engaging more with jaguars. I know we need to do this in peer-reviewed publications, but I'm using what I would say in Spanish, el anecdotémetro, the meter of anecdotes, your gut feeling, what you observe people doing as you're doing it, no? And so one of the things they told us about the cattle ranching area before putting the camera traps is that we would lose a lot of camera traps to theft, no? We've been doing it for 2 years, and we still have to lose our first camera trap. Over 100 camera traps over 2 years. So these are really good signals of how this technology, this technology that we're using to monitor and to produce evidence that our work is working or not working, is also engaging emotionally with the people that we're working with. I think the next challenge with the Jaguar Fair, I think we're going to continue, I know we're going to continue doing this, no? Hopefully we'll be able to put up here some evidence about how people's perception of Jaguar has changed thanks to the use of technology, thanks to the engagement, this fun engagement with technology and on Jaguar with them. But I think the next challenge is to take the Jaguar Fair, or to bring the Jaguar Fair to places like Lima, and to have people that are so far removed from the jaguar, like Limeños, engage with the jaguar through technology. No, I don't know how we're going to do that, but I think that's a clear next step for us. And so I'm going to close here. This is a video from the jaguar fairs, but I want to close by. Before the video, I want to close by thanking our partners, HP, Cisco, Sol Family Foundation, and our team to expand they have helped us expand the Jaguar footprint, or the Jaguar emotional footprint in humans. No, I think what we're witnessing is that the use of technology is helping us expand the footprint in the emotions of humans through technology. So thank you very much for your attention.